For us, it's a daily thing.
It's every day, right?
This is Mammoth Daily
We're going to take you inside the locker room
with Mike Fulta.
We want this show to be about the fans, and we want this show to be driven by our Utah Mammoth community.
And Adrian Denny.
Fans can submit what they want to hear us talk about, what they want to hear Utah weigh in on. It's all going to be here.
Here's Mike and AD with you.
Utahns, countrymen, lend me your ears.
Right here on Mammoth Daily.
Well, we made it from snowy Nashville down to the Sunshine State. AD, how's the Wasatch Front treating you? Because do I look tan, by the way? Tampa's treating us oh so nice.
You do. You look like you've been out in the sunshine, and let's get her done tonight in Tampa. Mike, coldest snap of the year here in the Valley. No snow. Did get some flurries Friday night in our neighborhood. I know not everybody did, but yeah, coldest two overnights of the season so far. You're in Florida. You guys got out of Nashville just in time. Mike, I don't think we ever covered this. I'm a big Weather Channel guy. I love just throwing on the Weather Channel, especially, you know, when 100 million people are under winter weather watches. And, you know, you got meteorologists out standing in Central Park in the snow and on street corners and under power lines, and ice is everywhere. I like that stuff. So I've been watching the Weather Channel for the last 3-4 days straight here with you all in Nashville, and you got out just in time.
Yep.
Because Nashville, it sounds as if the whole town is out of power right now. So was glad to get the confirmation Saturday night in our Utah Mammoth broadcast group text that you all had arrived in Tampa Bay.
It's a high risk, you know, high reward type of it was a big swing. Like, we either could have been stuck in Nashville, which again, like, there's just nothing to do. Like, Nashville's a great city, but you're stuck there. Everything's closed. So it's not like you can explore Broadway or anything like that, or go to a museum. It's all shut down. It's closed. But if we got out of Nashville, we were getting to Tampa, where it's just perfect outside. Like, it's literally 80 degrees and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. It's incredible. And to think that we could have missed this day being stuck in frozen Nashville, like, I shudder to think about that. Here's how the day went. I guess it started on Friday when we were told on the plane by one of our staffers, Griff, the guy who does travel for the team. Griff comes back and tells us, hey, we're moving the game ahead 2 hours. That's when we first found out. It was Friday on the plane to Nashville. So we know the weather's coming. We get the heads up. Boom. Okay, we're going to move it up so we can get out earlier. Then on game day, I get up and I work out at like 8-ish local time in the morning, AD. I'm on a treadmill that our gym is elevated in this hotel, so you can look out over all of Nashville. And it just looks like a normal January day in Tennessee. It's dreary. It's not crazy cold. I mean, it's cold to them. For us, it's pretty normal. But there was no snow, nothing at like from 8 to 9 o'clock. Then I walk over to the rink at 10:30 in the morning local time, and there's probably half an inch of snow, and it's still coming down pretty thick. Me and Matt McConnell do a little walk and talk. If you saw that on Twitter. That was like 10:30 in the morning as we're going over to the rink. And the snow's still coming down, and the whole time I've got like this feed on the monitor next to me that shows downtown Nashville. It shows Broadway, so I can see the progression. And there's more snow coming down, and it doesn't look that bad. But then you can start to see like a little graininess in the picture, and I realized that it's raining in Nashville, and that was the freezing rain that came and created ice, and that's why you have all, you know, the power lines that are down because they've got a quarter inch of freezing rain on them. And then we were instructed to basically like not do a post game, throw the headset down, get to the bus. Usually it's like 45 minutes after a game where the bus takes off. We were told it's going to be 25 here today. Like if you watch or listen to Bears post game, it was 2 minutes. Sarah Merrifield asked like 2 questions, and that was it. They were trying to get him out of there. So
Kailer Yamamoto was 45 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. It was like, we're doing this because we're obligated to, and for no other reason. Let's go. And so we hustle there. We get on the plane, and we're sitting on the tarmac, and we're on the tarmac for a while, Adrian. Like we get on, we kind of taxi out there. We're like, all right, we're gonna beat this thing. Here we go, off and running, sunshine, here we come. And we're stuck there we're on the tarmac for probably 40 minutes to an hour. Which at the time, like you're not really worried, and then you realize how much time has gone by. You're like, whoa, we are we in trouble here? And then I think we had to get de-iced twice, maybe, because we didn't get de-iced until like right before we took off. And then they fire up the reverse thrusters just to check them out, and boom, you're off and running. But it was a little touch and go there. Long story, all of that to say that we made it, and good thing too, because the team's rolling. You want to reward everybody with some nice weather here in Tampa. Don't want to get stuck in Nashville. I was talking to some folks with the LA Kings, and they were saying that I think they might have got stuck in St. Louis during their road trip. I'm not sure if they made it out or not, but that was a possibility for them too. But we're safe and sound, AD. Safe and sound, ready to get to work tonight.
All the Tampa Bay Lightning entering Saturday night, Mike, the only team in the NHL that had a longer unbeaten streak than the Utah Mammoth. They were 14-0-1, and they went into Columbus. They were down 4-2 after one. Wild game. Lost 8-5. Their first loss since December 18th to the LA Kings. Yeah. So Utah taking on a Tampa Bay team tonight that's 14-1-1 now in their last 16 games, which gives Utah the longest unbeaten streak in the National Hockey League at 8-0-1 in their last 9. We all remember last time Utah was in Tampa Bay was a tough one, tough night, less than a week after beating Tampa Bay 6-4 here at the Delta Center. Went into Tampa Bay, Mike, and I don't remember the score, but nevertheless, Mammoth lost 8-0.
I remember it because we started telling jokes in the third period. AD, before we get too deep into Tampa here, do you want to kind of go back and talk about that Saturday win against Nashville a little bit, just to kind of put a bow on it? I mean, Mammoth are rolling right now, points in 9 straight. And that game against Nashville, we had circled that one as the biggest of this road trip.
Yeah, and it was another great performance by the Mammoth throughout 60 minutes, right? It was a first period where they fell behind 1-0, early power play goal, hung in there, right? Blocked some huge shots, got some huge Karel Vejmelka saves in that first period to keep it 1-0. You had Sergachev blocking the shot from Justin Barron. Yeah. You had Michael Carcone blocking the shot with his glove. You had Kailer Yamamoto kind of teeing off on his first star of the game performance by blocking a huge shot in that first period. And then the saves from Vejmelka, and it's a 1-0 game, Mike, but it could have been a little more out of hand at the first intermission than 1-0. But like the way that Utah hung in there, thought they had a really nice finish to that first period. They got 6 of the final 9 shots in the opening frame, and I thought that's some good stuff they can carry out into that second period. And they came out into the second period. They got 3 goals in just over 5 minutes. You had Clayton Keller. You had this really nice play by Michael Carcone picking up the puck and getting by the Nashville defenseman to get to the net for his 10th of the year. Kailer Yamamoto, less than 3 minutes after that, made it 3-1. And Mike, it was another good situation in this good January for the Mammoth where they were able to manage the game the rest of the way and pull it off. Another great third period from special teams. Third period against Philly. Drew that power play, scored on the power play, started the comeback. Saturday against Nashville. Penalty with the 3-2 lead. Killed it off, didn't allow a shot. Nashville's power play was 7 for the last 21, had a power play goal in the first period, got through it, and then the Mammoth scored a power play goal. Barrett Hayton, and was off and running until the JJ Peterka freebie there made it 5-2.
Yeah. JJ gets his 18th on the year. Just a play for everybody to to explain it to everybody, if you get hauled down from behind like JJ did and the net is empty, normally they would give you a penalty shot, but if the net's empty, the goal is awarded. So that's why that goal counted, even though the puck didn't actually go into the net. I was talking with somebody from the team who, after the game, they were saying Nashville's a hard team to play against because at 5-on-5, they don't do much. Like, there's not a lot going on, but because of their personnel, they don't need much. Guys like Stamkos, who scored against Utah, Ryan O'Reilly, Marchessault, they don't need a lot of space to score. And so you can think you're playing really well against them, and all of a sudden, boom, one's in the back of your net. That's what I felt like Nashville's second goal was, Adrian, where the Mammoth were playing pretty well, had a 3-1 lead at that point, and then one puck deflects to Marchessault, and boom, it's a 1-goal game.
Totally. And the top D pairing couldn't get a puck out. Sergachev and Dursey had a phenomenal game. Don't get one puck out. It ends up in the back of the net. Kind of reminded me of that game against the Predators here in Salt Lake on December 29th when you had 3 1-goal leads, but 3 broken plays end up at the back of the net. Then they scored, made it 4-3. I was really happy with that win. I just thought it was another contest where the Mammoth were able to work through some things and then ultimately take control and dictate the pace, which is kind of what they've done here in January, is just be able to take control of games, have a firm grasp, and move forward and move on.
Yeah, and I'd love something you said earlier, special teams coming through in the third. Really big penalty kill in the third period as well, when it was a 1-goal game, and then the power play lengthens the lead to make it 4-2 and kind of put things on ice. Utah now with power play goals in back-to-back games. That's something we haven't said for a few weeks. And Barrett Hayton has been right in the middle of it. He's been put on that top power play unit, AD, and it's paid immediate dividends.
He's gone to the front of the net in 2 different scenarios, and he goes in there and he bruises, but you look at it, it's pretty much exactly how they scored the power play goal on Wednesday night. Came off the stick of Dylan Guenther on Wednesday night. It went through Barrett Hayton's legs, and right there, he's there to slam it home off the stick of Guenther. So nice little wrinkle, because we know the one time from Guenther in the left wing circle, but not every shot's going to go in. So to have a guy like Barrett Hayton who's there, you're not going to push him around. It's a good advantage for the Mammoth. But I like it, Mike. I kind of had a feeling when they scored that power play goal that was the huge gift from the Flyers and Noah Juleson when they roughed up Jack McBain, fought him. I thought, okay, this could be something that gets the power play going here. And There you go, 2 for the last 3. And Barrett Hayton, a big part of that. 3 of his 6 goals this year have come on the power play.
Yeah, Yamamoto with another net front goal. He gets a deflection on a Sergachev shot, and that's another goal for him immediately after being inserted into the lineup. What's the stat of him coming back into the lineup and scoring, AD?
Yeah, Mike, that was the 8th time this year that he has re-entered the lineup after not playing in the previous game. He's got 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points in the last 8. We'll have more on it coming up in the Monday morning power play, but some really good numbers on Yamamoto and on the depth of the Mammoth when they insert a player into the lineup after he didn't play in the game before.
First time we'd ever seen Yamamoto, Tanev, and O'Brien in the game at the same time, because the injuries to Cooley, Kerfoot, and Krause out due to illness. But Yamamoto steps into that top line with Keller and Schmaltz, and head coach Andre Cherney after the game called him the chain connector. He's another guy who can basically keep up with those two. He'll help dig pucks out of corners and things like that, but can kind of keep that chain moving and keep that connection alive between Keller and Schmaltz. So I really like how with Krause out of the lineup, Adrian, Barrett didn't just blow up the lines and try to move everybody around. He kept everything basically the same and just plugged Kailer Yamamoto in with Keller and Schmaltz. I like that. Don't disturb everything else that's going really well. And in Yamamoto, you fortunately have a guy who's capable of playing with elite players.
Yeah, and just the ability to put him anywhere. And you said he's played with Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl on the same line before. He's a former first-round draft pick. We've put him on the top power play unit before. He's played on the fourth line. And we were talking about it on Saturday on the broadcast. What do you do now? And you put Krause back on the top line, right? Because you were 7-0-1.
Yeah.
But to have that that guy in your back pocket for any need, right? We've said the word dog days a couple times. We've used that term a couple times here. And Mike, knock on wood, everybody stays healthy and everybody's 100% going into the Four Nations, or the Olympic break, which you have 6 games left until the Olympic break. But it's professional hockey, and watching games, guys aren't always 100%. Guys get sick, but to have Yamamoto to pop in there and not have to change anything else up is huge, and he's a heck of a player. As I said, more on that coming up in the Monday morning power play.
Yeah. Well, before we get to the power play, we should talk about the game here tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I know you started to get in on there before I cut you off and derailed our train. But let's get back to it, talking about the Mammoth's second game of the road trip, taking on a Tampa team tonight that's coming off kind of a weird loss in Columbus. They lost 8-5 on Saturday night. It was their second game of a back-to-back. Mason Marchment for the Blue Jackets had a hat trick. Adrian, they didn't have Vasilevsky in net. They had Johansson, their number 2 goalie, and they gave up 4 goals in the first period. They ended up tying the game 4-4 in the second period, and Columbus had 2 empty netters in the third to make that score look a little more crazy than maybe it actually was. A pretty entertaining hockey game to watch once we landed in Tampa Bay, but first time they had been beaten in regulation after a 15-game point streak, third longest in team history. And you could make the argument that without that last loss, this Tampa Bay team is the hottest in the NHL.
Yeah, so you got the 2 hottest in the NHL going at it tonight, Mike. And the Mammoth are going to remember losing in November at home to them, losing 8-0 there last March. Mike, winning streaks and unbeaten streaks don't go on forever. And usually when you feel like they are, they come to an abrupt end. So for Tampa Bay, as you said, using their backup goaltender on the back-to-back after they got the shootout win in Chicago on Friday night. But, when you're unbeaten in 15, sometimes you don't get a save or 2 from your backup. You kind of lose your details a little bit. You're playing a team that's going to push back. As Andre Tourigny says, the other team is allowed to be good. And sometimes you just get a quick reminder of, better remember how we got here. So as I was watching that, I thought, yeah, that's what this looks like here. And I'm so thrilled it just happened in the last game before they played Utah.
Yeah, great. They'll have a great practice and be ready to go for tonight. But this was a team that won just 1 out of their first 7 games. And on this program, I came on here and was suggesting, this is an older team. If they aren't clicking along, this Tampa team could be in trouble, yada, yada. A lot of good teams in the East, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, they've had win streaks of 5, 7, and 11 since then. Right after they were 1-4-2, they won 5 in a row. They had a 7-game heater a little bit later, and then an 11-game win streak as part of their 15-game point streak. Adrian, Nikita Kucherov is somehow underrated in the NHL. And how a player is at the top of his class when other elite players recognize him. And I forget who this saying was about in basketball. I can't remember if it was Kyrie Irving or something, but Nikita Kucherov is your favorite player's favorite player. There was that line was originally said about somebody in the NBA, and I forget forget who it was originally about, but Nikita Kucherov, I think you ask players around the league, and his name comes up as much as McDavid and as much as McKinnon. He's third in scoring behind those two guys, and he just tied Vinny Lecavalier for the second most goals in franchise history for Tampa. He had a goal and 3 assists, just a casual 4-point night for him against Columbus in the loss. Only Steven Stamkos has more Lightning goals than Nikita Kucherov, but he continues to light it up for this team. He's a wizard with the puck. Not going to blow you away with speed, but anybody who loves the game of hockey has to love this guy because he is just one of the best in the game.
He puts up 1980s statistics, Mike. He's gotten 5 seasons of over 100 points. 100 points, 113, 121 last year, 128, 144 in 23-24. It's just ridiculous. You don't hear enough about him. And this year, Mike, Tampa Bay's just been torched with injuries. And you look at their record and it being what it is, they're 11 points in back of Colorado. But if they don't have the injuries, they could be that team out of the Eastern Conference, right? Like they've been missing Ryan McDonough and Victor Hedman, their top 2 D-men for over half of the season. And I heard it mentioned earlier this week, this could be John Cooper's best head coaching job. He's in his 14th season, including the final 14 games he took over in 2011, 2012. He's led him to the playoffs in 12 of his 13 or 11 of his 12 full seasons there. He's never won Coach of the Year, but he's just continues to piece things together, and they get guys that they pull up from the AHL that step right in and are able to contribute. So, yeah, big test on the road tonight for the Mammoth as Tampa Bay has just lost in regulation for the first time in over a month.
Yeah, they've been really good defensively. Before they let in 8 against Columbus, they had allowed just 1 goal in 5 of their last 6 games. So that's been a lot of Vasilevsky. It's been a lot of the defense who have filled in for McDonough and for Hedman. One of those has been Darren Radish, 13 goals as a defenseman. He's been there in Tampa a few years after he made his way up through the minors. Darren Radish, undrafted guy, great story. Who he's bust onto the scene. JJ Moser signed an extension earlier this year. He has been really big for Tampa. Adrian, you mentioned no Jack Adams award for John Cooper. That's an award I always struggle with because it feels a little bit like the MVP vote sometimes, where it just gets given to the coach whose turn it is instead of the most deserving. And there's like this unspoken stipulation that the guy who wins the Jack Adams, like, he has to be in the playoffs. I don't agree with that. I think you have to factor in the materials the guy is given to start with as a coach. Now, Coop's done an amazing job with great materials, and there's something to be said for that as well. But like going back to last year, I thought Dean Evison should have got more votes than he did, even though Columbus just barely missed the playoffs. But considering everything they went through and considering the talent on the Columbus roster, I thought Evison should have been right there. I don't know. What do you think about that, AD, the way that Jack Adams gets handed out?
Yeah, it's usually a flavor of the week award, right? The guy that kind of goes about his business and wins divisions and gets into the second round of the playoffs, which Tampa Bay has not done in a couple years. But just a general example, but it's usually somebody right out of the blue, and for a trendy team that maybe you didn't expect to make that run, or the team that has the very best record, like a Jared Bednar this year, if they're able to keep that going. But I guess, when you have 32 teams, you got a lot of good coaches, but I was shocked to see that John Cooper had never won a Jack Adams before.
Yeah, and he's going to be the coach of Team Canada at the Olympics coming up. So very, very deserved post for John Cooper. But anything else on Tampa here, AD? We're going long here in this first segment before we get to our Monday morning power play.
Quite the work week here for the Mammoth, Mike. Monday in Tampa Bay against the Lightning, hottest team. Then you go to the Stanley Cup champions on Tuesday, take on the Panthers, and then up to Raleigh to take on the Metropolitan Division leading Carolina Hurricanes on Thursday.
Yeah, it's a big trip, and I'm going to get into more of that coming up in just a little bit. So let's head there right now to our Monday morning power play segment that's coming up right after this on Mammoth Daily.
And now, time for the Monday morning power play.
All right, it's time for our Monday morning power play, kicking off your work week. Mammoth have some work to do this week with 3 more games on the road. Adrian was mentioning Tampa. And then tomorrow you have the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, then the Metropolitan Division leading Carolina Hurricanes at the end of the trip. So 3 tough games after a win to start the road trip in Nashville on Saturday night. But AD, where do you want to start with our 5 biggest storylines for the Mammoth this week?
Let's start with the number 1 star from Saturday, because why not? Talked about him in the first segment, Kailer Yamamoto. A goal and an assist. That goal was the game winner because it made it 3-1, and Nashville only got to 2. Almost had an assist on that first goal. He was out in front. I thought he might have got a piece of it on the Keller goal that Sergachev sent to the net, and it popped back out to Keller. Yamamoto was right there out in front, played a big part of that goal as well. But as we said, 6 points in 8 games, coming back after not being in the lineup the game before, last second insertion with Lawson Krause not playing, goes to that top line. Utah's 5-1-2 this year when Kailer Yamamoto returns to the lineup. But Mike, it's not just Yamamoto. He's done a great job, but to have guys to insert like that and know you're going to get a performance that's going to help the team get a result. Liam O'Brien, when he comes into the lineup, Utah 4-2-1 in his first game. When Brandon Tanev comes into the lineup after not playing, 2-1. So you've got depth, you've got guys that help your team win when they come back into it. And Kailer Yamamoto is a heck of a player. Like, he was a first-round pick as a 5'9" forward out of Spokane, Washington.
5'9"
in 2017.
Do we list him at 5'9"?
We do, yes.
Okay.
He's our size, Mike. He's our size.
5'9" is close enough. That's passable. When I was listed on my football roster, my coach added 2 inches and 20 pounds to me. So at the time, I was like 5 on the roster. I was 5'10", like 180 or something like that on the roster. I was not actually that size. I don't know if Kailer is 5'9". That might be a bit of a stretch.
But it's impressive when he comes in and Mike practicing every day, and you stay out a little longer with our skills coach Kyle Bocek and our assistant skills coach Brian Slagaki. But it's just not playing in the NHL every day in terms of games. So and he's been an everydayer in the NHL, and Tanev has, and O'Brien's played a lot of minutes. But some good guys that you have that you can call their names when you need them.
Yeah, and Andre Cherney has said that it's not even really fair to Yamamoto how full Utah's cupboard is up front, and there aren't as many opportunities as Yamamoto deserves to have. And he's played well. He's produced. That's the thing, right? Like he has to produce. He's a skilled forward with the ability to play with those high end guys, and you have to be part of offense when you're in that role. And he's done that. It's just it's kind of a logjam at times, and it'll be interesting to see what the lineup looks like once Krause is back from illness, because Yamo, as they call him, has been really good whenever he's been put in. He's produced. And like Tanovan O'Brien has been an injection of life. I thought that penalty they called on him in the first was a little weak. It kind of grabbed him a little bit, but I thought that was like holding in the NFL. Like you could call that every play if you wanted to.
Sure.
But
Sure.
just my layman's perspective.
Was Roman Yossi. 1,001 NHL games.
It was Roman Yossi on his special day. Real bummer, by the way, that the stadium was not full for Yossi's 1,000 game celebration. He deserved better, and it was just the external factors, right? The weather made it difficult to get out. They made an announcement inside the arena at Bridgestone Arena saying if you're in the upper bowl, you can come down to the lower bowl. So it's not a lack of fandom in Nashville. It's simply that the weather had created some icy conditions. But let's move on in our Monday morning power play. We were talking about the schedule a little bit. This is going to be really important for Utah. Last few games before the Olympic break. Separation. Mammoth have created a sliver of distance between them and that next crust of teams competing for the top wild spot. Utah currently in that top wild card spot. But while the Mammoth have been ascending and they've earned points in 9 straight, a lot of other teams have picked up the pace as well. The San Jose Sharks are currently in the second wild card spot. They have a bunch of road games coming up. They've been alternating wins and losses. We all keep waiting for the other shoe to drop with the Sharks, and it just isn't dropping. They keep hanging around and hanging around. The Sharks have a Western Canadian trip coming up where they play, 2 of the bottom teams, Vancouver and Calgary. But then they also go to Edmonton, Colorado, and Chicago on a trip. So next few games will be big as San Jose, one of those chief competitors for the wild card spots, goes on the road, and Utah goes on the road as well. You have the LA Kings, 3 points back. They're in the middle of a 6-game road trip right now. The Seattle Kraken are also right there on the outside looking in. They're in the middle of a 6-game homestand, but they've been struggling recently. I think they've lost 5 of their last 6. So you've got these stretches where Seattle maybe thinking, okay, we can make up some ground. You've got LA and San Jose thinking, okay, we just need to stay at 500 during this road trip. What can Utah do? Can you separate, or are you going to allow teams back into the fold? This point streak, this win streak for the Mammoth is not going to last forever. But as we've been saying, you have to strike while the iron's hot and continue to pick up points, because even though the Mammoth feel really good right now, all it takes is really 2 games and you could find yourself below the cut line.
Yeah, and let's get to how they've been winning games as we'll get to number 3 on our Monday morning power play. Top 5 stories entering the week. Mike, 8-1-1 in January, and we saw it in October with the 7-game winning streak. Seeing it right now. When you're winning games, they come in all different ways. Utah, during this 8-1-1 stretch, has won 3 games where they've led from tape to tape. Scored a first period goal, led the rest of the way. Did it against Ottawa, did it against St. Louis, did it against Toronto. They've had 2 games where they've gone up 1-0. The opponents tied it, but then Utah's got the next goal and led the rest of the way. Islanders and Dallas. And Mike, the last 3 games, they've given up a goal or 2 in the first 5 minutes and had to come back and push their way through it. And Mike, how about this one? 2 wins out of the last 11 games have come when Utah's been down 3-0 in a contest. Probably going to get that twice a year, but you'll take them when you get them.
Yeah, Mammoth are tied for the most 3-goal comebacks, by the way, with 2. So you can't expect that too much. I do want to give the boys some credit. 9-1-1 here in the month of January, most wins ever in a calendar month for the Mammoth. The previous best was 8, and
that's what I had. I don't know where I screwed it up. 2, 6. Okay, I got it now. 2-1 on the road trip, 6-0-1 at home, 1-0 on this road trip.
There you go.
I'm going back because I had that, and I'm like, no, that's arithmetic, Mike.
Classic Adrian living in the past. We are 9-1-1, baby, in the month of January. Best month ever for Utah dating back to last season, and there's still a bunch of games still to go. So, great run there. AD, I've got you mentioned the start of games. I think this group needs to clean that up a little bit. You like to see them coming back, but the last 3 starts of the game have not been great. Luckily for the Mammoth, they've got it going, but there's going to be nights where it's going to be a little harder to score, especially against a goalie like Vasilevsky tonight. So would like to see, get that first goal, put a little game pressure on the other team, and take some pressure off yourself, especially when you're on the road. Take the building out of it a little bit. But I'm going to go from the first period to the third period. Mammoth have outscored teams 18-3 through 11 games in January during the third period. 18-3 through the last 11 third periods. They've allowed 3 goals, 3 in their last 11 third periods, and only one of those has been at even strength. So the Mammoth have locked things down in the third. They've protected leads really well. They've scored a bunch of goals in third periods, and if you're going to keep that up, if you're going to pick one period to dominate, it's the third. And the Mammoth have been doing that here in 2026.
That's a sign of a team that's winning and understands the recipe that you need to fulfill to win games in all different scenarios. All right, Mike, final one. My number 5 on the Monday morning power play. How about depth scoring? With Michael Carcone's 10th on Saturday, Utah now has 7 players with at least 10 goals. That's 6th most in the NHL. How about the scoring by defensemen? 8 goals in the last 12, 5 game winning goals in that stretch for Utah. And they entered Saturday tied for 5th in the NHL in January points by defensemen. They've now got 34, and that's how you get 4 more goals in 5 of your last 7. You got everybody involved. I think we saw it on the homestand when we saw the middle 6 get all 6 goals. And then we saw Keller's line get 2 against Dallas. It spreads around, right? Keller's been involved in almost half of the goals that Utah's scored in the last 8 games, but there's been a lot of other guys involved in the action.
Yeah, and here's a good nugget from Russell Brooks, stat guy Russ, and this was during the game, so I don't know if this changed, but Russ hit us with a note. Oh no, it is validated. Okay, I'm looking at the thread on Slack. No forward under 10 minutes, no forward over 20 minutes in that last game against Nashville. So to your point, Adrian, everybody involved. Fourth line played a lot against the Predators, and they were good. And you're able to use the middle 6 kind of in different situations, however you see fit. And we know that this coaching staff, they'll ride hot hands, right? They are very fluid with lines and who's got the hot stick that night. They typically ride those guys a little bit more than usual, but really even minute dispersion in the last game for Utah. So everybody, like you said, getting involved and scoring, that's the big part as well. But good stuff on the Monday morning power play. AD, want to wrap things up when we come back?
Yeah, let's get everybody ready for a 5 o'clock face-off in Tampa Bay.
This is Mammoth Daily.
Getting you ready for a 7 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Mountain time, puck drop here on Hockey Night in Utah. Mammoth in Tampa Bay to take on the red-hot Tampa Bay Lightning, who are on that big point streak that we mentioned, Adrian, and yet somehow they're not leading the division. Detroit has overtaken them in the Atlantic. So you go on a 15-game point streak, you win 11 in a row, you'd think you'd be on top of the mountain. Nope, not quite. Detroit has also won 8 of its last 10. So the Red Wings on top, but the Lightning certainly have kind of vaulted themselves back into Stanley Cup contention conversation after what was a bit of a tough start to the year. But should be a fun one today, AD. Can't wait to chat with everybody on the radio side. Had some folks in Nashville say hi right outside our hotel.
I'm worried about Clayton. One of our favorite listeners, Clayton, was in Nashville. Have we heard if he got out?
I think if Clayton gets stuck in Nashville, it's a win for everybody because you can just throw him in one of the bars with his guitar and his voice, and everyone's going to be entertained. So Nashville might need Clayton to keep everybody entertained during this ice storm. He's one of our favorite Mammoth performers.
Yeah, I saw him at the game. I'm like, Clayton didn't have a charter out of Nashville, and I think there was one charter that got out yesterday, and it belonged to the Utah Mammoth. So, Mike, got kind of a nice schedule this week. Fans can listen to Hockey Night in Utah on their way home, 4 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, and 5 o'clock face-off. So, don't have to navigate the bedtimes tonight and the rest of the week, but Mammoth are going to have some tough games, but they're going to be in prime time, going to be in drive time coming up on Hockey Night in Utah this evening. Got a feature on, how, as you said on Friday, everything's going according to plan in terms of that tough stretch, October, November, December, and some stuff they learned. Now they've gotten through it. They're on the other side. They're in a playoff spot, so looking forward to that. Our Tuesday mailbag edition coming up tomorrow, Mike. Fans can still get in on that. Leave questions in the YouTube comments. Leave us a 5-star rating on Apple. Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram. We have some fun questions coming in, but have room for some more. So get those in. And Mike, we teased it Saturday on the radio. We've got a special guest in the Odd Man Rush coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah, excited for that. We're about to record that interview right after we get off here, but I guess we'll save that until that interview. We won't announce it until the interview's in the bank, and just good practice not to count your chickens before they hatch here. Thanks for everybody who's dropping questions, Instagram, Twitter, in the YouTube comments. I do apologize if you've reached out to me on Instagram and I don't follow you. It gets stuck in like these message requests on Instagram, and I never check those. And so there's a bunch of people that have tried to message me on Instagram that I've gotten back to weeks later. So, or I haven't gotten back to at all. So apologies on that. I see things on Twitter a lot, and we catch pretty much all the YouTube comments as well. So appreciate everybody writing in for the mailbag. We had a video submission last week.
We did. Eldon.
Yes. Thank you, Eldon.
One.
Let's get back-to-back weeks with video submissions. That would be great. That would be great.
Yep,
because go ahead.
Yeah, just submit them on Twitter at 801 Adrian Denny, at Mike _Folta, Instagram too, at Mikey Folta, at 801 Adrian Denny. Send them our way.
Does it make you? Is it weird for you to say the Mikey when you when you give my Instagram handle?
No, I think it's great.
Because
some people call you Mike, some people call you Mikey, and you've got a social platform for both.
I do. It's funny. Like I have a different name depending who's talking to me. like Nick Olczyk, and Dom Moore and Matt McConnell, I'm Mikey, right? To my mother, to my sisters, they call me Michael. You, Adrian, and I think just general population calls me just Mike, because that's what I write my name down as. Did I tell the story of me writing my name in kindergarten?
No.
So I like growing up as like a little kid, I my parents always just called me Mike or Mikey, and that was fine. And when I first went to school, when I first went to kindergarten, I just made the decision I wanted to be Michael. And so like, okay, here you go. And when I was in like homeschool preschool, like my mom just preschooled us at home. She was a teacher, so it worked out and we saved money. But I just always wrote Mike on those preschool papers. But then going to school, I wanted to be Michael, and I had no idea how to spell my full name. And my mom's a great teacher. You might be listening to this thinking like, how do you not teach your son how to spell his name before he's 5 or 6? The first paper I ever turned in, I think my mom has it in an album somewhere, but it just has about 20 attempts of me trying to spell Michael, and none of them None of them are correct. But I know now, even though I still don't write Michael very much. But I remember like being stuck. Like, you know how you get the worksheet and like the first thing on every worksheet in school is put your name at the top. There's a little section for your name. I couldn't even get that done in my first ever school assignment.
Stressful. I think some of the most stressful moments ever occurred in early elementary school, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. You're in situations you've never been in before. What do you do? Mom's not there.
I remember. Here's another funny one, and then we'll be done. This just popped into my head. There was a kid, Tyler, in my kindergarten class, and sometimes he would wear a hat to school, and sometimes he wouldn't. And I would always try to match Tyler because I thought Tyler was so cool. And so if he was wearing a hat, I wanted to be wearing a hat, and if he wasn't wearing one, I wanted to wear one, or I didn't want to wear one. And I just remember like checking once we got off the bus, like, oh, is he wearing a hat today? No hat. And I'm like, boom, taking it off, throwing it in the backpack. So was a follower as a young kid and am still a follower, following you to the ends of the earth here on Mammoth Daily, Adrian.
Great show, Mike. Love it. My school wasn't allowed to wear hats until high school. How about that?
Yeah. We couldn't wear them into the building, right? You had to take them off.
Okay. Yeah. In high school, for some reason, you could start wearing hats over at Skyline Community College.
Is that what they called it? Skyline Community College?
No, I've just said it right there. Just like
right.
Rules change. You can wear hats. You're in high school now.
All right. We'll see everybody coming up later tonight. Hockey night in Utah starting at 4:00. That's when the pregame starts. Puck drop at 5:00 against the Tampa Bay Lightning. A return for Mikhail Sergachev back to his old stomping grounds as well. But we'll see everybody later tonight on the radio side, and we'll talk to you again on our Tuesday mailbag edition of Mammoth Daily that's coming up tomorrow.